In this video, I'm going to teach you how to set up the experiment in the virtual lab here for finding the density of a metal. So you're going to need a balance for your tools. So I clicked on tools and then I clicked on the scale. It came up on the screen and I can drag it around. You're also going to need to get some water. So you can click on the water there. And you're going to need some different glassware. My suggestion for the glassware is to use a graduated cylinder and to use one of the larger graduated cylinders, so the 50 milliliter graduated cylinder. Finally, just so that you can put the metal on something on the scale, I'm going to suggest that you use a beaker. And so if we go to the beakers here, we can just take our smallest beaker and then we can put that on the scale. Right, notice that the way I did that was I clicked the beaker at the stockroom, and then once it was on here, I can click and drag it. In general, you see the little outline that appears on the scale there? That's how you know that you dragged one object on the other and you can put them together, right? Same thing is you can take some water and you can pour some water in the graduated cylinder. I'll show you how to do that right now. So if I go and I click the water and I drag it onto the graduated cylinder, now I'm given options for how to put the water in there. So you can actually type a number, but my suggestion is not to do that because in the real lab, you wouldn't be able to type a number and put it in. Um, Also, you could do sig fig pour, but again, I'm going to suggest not to do that. I'm going to suggest doing a realistic pour. So this is where you're going to hold the pour and boom, oh no, I just overfilled it. So I held a little too long. And so what I can just do is I can get rid of this by right clicking on here and click remove. By the way, I could have just clicked remove the liquid and that would have worked as well. Maybe that would have been a better suggestion. So let me put the graduated cylinder back, put this over here. I'm going to pretend I over pour again, hold the pour. Oh no, too much. And now I'm going to right click this and remove liquid. And then I can just click and realistic pour again. I'm just going to tap it that time. All right, so that's good. So that went up to, see the zoomed in view there? That goes away when I when I pull the H2O away. The way I can get that back is I can right click this on this and I can go to detail view and it'll show me what's there. And so the idea is that you're going to take the reading off of this yourself. You can see that it gives you what it's about at the bottom, but try to use your eyeball. And so I see that that's around the 10 marking, and this graduated cylinder has a marking every 1, which means I would estimate to the 10th place. All right, time to actually measure the metal now. So I'm going to go back into the stockroom. This time I have under solutions tab, I have metal 1. And so I'm going to grab some metal 1 and I'm going to pour a little bit of it into the beaker to weigh it. You can see that the tare button here is actually going to zero out the weight of the beaker. So I'm going to click that. Oh, wait, let's try that again. Uh-oh. Remove the scale. Something went buggy. So let's try that again. I'm going to put the scale back in. Going to hold the beaker, put it on the scale, and now I'm going to click the tare button. All right, we need to do that because we don't want the weight of the beaker in our calculations. We just want the weight of the metal. So I'm going to go and I'm going to click metal and I'm going to realistically pour a little bit of it in there. So there we go. So I got 6.5619 grams. There's very, very little, so I might want to pour a little bit more. Probably want to be enough that it actually matters. It's actually going to show up in the graduated cylinder. All right. So, oh, yeah, excuse me. So I want to put that back on so I can get that number. I'm going to type that number in, 38.8132 grams here. So this is metal 1, 39.8132 grams. All right, I don't have to put grams because grams is in the label up at the top there. All right, the initial water, I'm going to call that 10.1 even though it says 10.2 below, because by my eyeballs it's 10.1. And then the final water, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour this metal into the graduated cylinder, and I'm going to pour the whole amount. Boom. And I can see that the graduated cylinder went up to, okay, so that's the 13 mark, that's the 14 mark. It's between the 13 and the 14. I'd say it's a little closer to the 14. So I'm going to call that 13.6 milliliters. Right? And so what I'm going to do is that's the water at the beginning, that's the water at the end. Now I need to subtract them to get the metal. You're going to want to do all of your subtractions on a show all your calculations on a piece of paper, and you're going to hand that in with the lab. So 13.6 minus 10.1, and I got 3.5. All right, finally, we're going to do the density calculation. This is also going to be on a piece of paper. So density is grams per cubic centimeter, and milliliters of water is the same thing as cubic centimeters of water. Milliliters of metal is the same thing as cubic centimeters of metal. So I'm going to do 39.8132 divided by 3.5. And when I get that, my answer really is only good to 2 sig figs. So I have the answer 11.3752, but that really is just 11, right? So I don't have to type both of those numbers there. I'm just going to type 11. All right, you can see right now that when I did that, and I go to the top of the page, I have densities of 10.5, 12.4, and 21.45. I don't actually have enough sig figs to know what metal this is. So really what I should have done is I should have used a little more metal so that I could get more than 2 sig figs in the metal amount. So that means that I would have a greater mass of the metal, and when I poured it in, I would get a greater number for volume of metal. But if I had to guess right now, I'm not really sure, but I'd probably guess the platinum because 10.5 can round to 11. So I'm going to guess that this is a platinum. PT is the chemical symbol for platinum. All right, when you want to clear this out for another experiment, you can right-click this and remove liquid, and you can right-click this again and remove solid. And I think I removed everything there. And you can always just, remove the whole thing and put a new one in.